All right. Good evening, everyone. We want to welcome you to our Wednesday evening service, Wednesday evening Bible study, whatever you want to call it. We're meeting. Good to be with you. Um, oh, my name is Arthur. For you guys that know and follow us, you guys know who I am, Arthur Togney. But I'm just going to put it up there because I have the ability. It's fun. Technology is fun. Being able to uh, do this live and do this for you guys and be able to study the Bible. It's all um, fun and interesting for me. Like, I like doing that stuff. And so, when I get the opportunity to help or do something, that's when I want to perform. That's when I want to do that. And so, we don't always get those opportunities. In fact, some of those opportunities are limited to maybe special opportunities or particular opportunities, like, for instance, leadership. We don't always get how would you call it, a chance or a opportunity to showcase those skills. But when we do, something special and something unique, and it's something we look forward to, right? For instance, if we as believers didn't come to that time when God entered our life and told us that it's we got two choices. You can either choose to follow me or you can choose to what the Bible says is die, literally. And it's not just a physical death, there is another death. It's a spiritual death. It's when there is no more existence, right? If we didn't come to that point, we wouldn't have the opportunity to tell people about it. We wouldn't have the opportunity to showcase that. We wouldn't have that opportunity to let people know, right? It's the same way with leadership. It's the same way with following leaders. Like, how do we choose leaders? How do we choose who we're going to follow, right? Those are indisputable truths, what the Bible talks about, that there is a life and there is a death. And so I'm going to get rid of this thing here so, doesn't go the whole service like I did the other night. But we have to make that choice. And what's what we were talking about a few weeks ago with the Great Commission was that there has to be a decision made. There has to be a point in time when we either go or we stay. And really, that's what God is calling us to do. See, we're already in one of those positions. Do we choose to stay there or do we choose to go? Do we choose to follow Him and allow Him to teach us on how to become better? Or do we just literally, it's like technology. If you have one item of technology and you rely on that, pretty soon it's going to become outdated. It's going to become obsolete. It is old. It is the old way, right? And that's kind of what we're going to study a little bit about tonight, is not only focusing on what we're supposed to do as Christians is go out, teach. It says to teach, which, we can do all kinds of methods of teaching. It says baptize, which really we just celebrate with the individual. We get them the resources they need, whether that's a Bible, whether that's Bible studies, whether that's groups, fellowship, relationships, right? And then we help them afterwards. It's not a hey, you're done or you're saved and then that's it. If that was the case, honestly, that's not that great of a deal, because I've noticed that I have kind of a I guess you would call it a little bit of a hang up. Is once something's done, once something's completed, once I've achieved something, it's I don't really think about that anymore. Um, I always liken it back to spelling bee. I was a spelling bee champ when I was a little kid. But see, I never really wanted to do anything or excel at that anymore. Now, there comes a point when we're given a choice. I was introduced to technology, to computers, to something that interested me, right? And I haven't stopped. That's what following Christ is like. He gives you a glimpse of your future, of where you're going to end up, of where you are supposed to be. The love, the joy, the peace, the calm that you experience when he enters your life, right? He gives you a little glimpse of that, and he says, we're going to have to journey to there. I'm going to give you a little glimpse now, but think about and focus your mind on what you're supposed to be going for. Again, what we talked about with our goals. Don't get hung up on the results of what we're supposed to do here on earth, or even the results of the spiritual battles of what God goes through, right? He gives us a task. We try to accomplish that task the best way we know how. Leave it up to him to be able to work out the details, work out the results, work out all those finer things, right? We just be obedient. We just listen. And that's how you look and recognize a leader, right? Now, Jesus, when he came to us, did all these miraculous things, did all these good things, provided for people, provided resources, did things that were extraordinary, out of this world, not of humans. And see, that's your first point when you're trying to follow or choose a leader, is if you can recognize those traits that you want in a leader. And this goes for jobs, this goes for groups, organizations, associations, communities, any of that type of stuff. Recognizing what sets them apart. Now, if, again, you may not have that overall perspective because you might not be a part of it. And that's just being like a Christian, right? You might not recognize that being Christ-like means to love when there is no love returned. Because what did Jesus do for us? He loved those that didn't even love him back. And what does God tell us through his word, through his prophets, even through Jesus himself, and through many others that have come after him? Love one another. Don't do evil things. Don't do all this type of stuff. And when we're trying to follow our leadership, that's what we need to be able to follow. Is even though they come upon hard times, we heard a few sermons about being difficult, about battling and all this type of stuff. When God comes into our life, he gives us a glimpse of what it is like to be loved. That, again, I'll go back to those feelings. There's emotional feelings there, but there's a peace that's indescribable, and that's what we want to work towards, and that's what we want to share. And when we go and we try to follow, any type of leadership on earth, right? And we're trying to look towards something, we need to be able to figure out what those traits are that really set those people or things or whatever apart, right? What we want to emulate. Because there's organizations that need leadership. There's churches that need leadership, right? How do we recognize that? We study the Word. Because sprinkled throughout the whole Bible, the Old Testament, New Testament, The law, the letters, the Psalms, it all talks about love. So, let's go and let's see here. Where's it at? I was reading here and I think I might have moved my place. Yeah, I think I lost my place. John 15:9. It says, "As the Father has loved me, I have also loved you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love." Going back to leadership. If we want to choose to follow somebody, we have to recognize where that person is coming from, where that person is going. There should be no doubt, no questions as to what motivates them, what guides them, and what they're about. If, for instance, if I was to say that I was about, like I used to, and I still do, I say that, I like to play paintball and do all this type of stuff. I don't know that anybody watching this, maybe Colby, maybe some others, would be able to vouch for that, because when's the last time I played? So am I really a paintball player? Can I really do the things that I said that I was going to do? I don't know. I'm pretty heavy now. I've gained a little bit of weight since then. I wasn't really fast then, but I'm probably even slower now. But if I was to say I like IT, and that's a humble statement right there, or that I like video production, I like technology and that type of stuff. Well, you guys would probably believe that because of the stuff that you've seen, not just here, but if you've seen me hauling around equipment, if you've seen me doing the things that I do right now that I like. If I say that I like serving my people, my tribe, if I like my family and stuff like that, but you never seen me around, you never seen me do those things, right? You might have a question about it. And that's what I'm trying to show you, is that this verse right here rings of being able to recognize, being able to attribute those things towards leaders, towards people we want to follow, towards our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. It says, "As the Father loved me, I have also loved you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commands, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commands and remain in his love." And what did he tell us to do? He told us to love one another. He told us to love God, love one another, and share his love. A little bit later, I have told you these things so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete, right? So there's a little bit of something that we get a taste of. Once we start following him, once we start doing the things that he told us to do, that he's given us the ability to do, then we will be able to experience that joy that he has set out for us. Again, it's something ahead of us, not behind us. That's the old way. The new way is in front of us. The new way is ahead of us. The new way is something that we have to work towards. Constantly improving, constantly perfecting, constantly motivating ourselves to be able to take that drive and to be able to go further with it. I have told you these things so that that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. This is my command: love one another as I have loved you. This is Jesus talking. And here's get to a point that I always like to reference when we talk about what does it mean to really be confident about something. You see, Jesus did something for you and I. As believers, we know he died for us to conquer death. And he's not dead. He rose. He conquered death. Like, conquering means to overcome. So there's not a point in time where there's a point in time we can reference he was in the tomb, but there's not a point in time that he died. You see, he was in the tomb. He went and did his task that his father set before him, and he completed it. And this is what this is talking about. No one has greater love. Let's see if I can get this right. No one has greater love than this, to lay down his life for his friends. And these are just it's stronger than just saying friends. He's accepted us into his family. He's accepted us. When you say friend, you mean brother and sister, sibling, somebody who's a team member, somebody who has a like mind with you, has like goals with you, right? Maybe not necessarily the same path. That's what he's given us, all the unique ability to be able to do these things in our own way, but it's still following him. You see, that's the beauty of it. He allows you to be your own individual. You don't have to change who you are or anything. He's accepting who you are into his family for what you are. Now he just wants you to work towards what he has for you, that everlasting life. And how do you recognize how to bring in other people, how to follow other people? Is if they're willing to lay down their life for you, if they're willing to break down those barriers and be able to accept you. It's not just physically dying for you. The excuse or example that I always bring up is, if you really love our country, then you would sign up for the Secret Service. You would be on that detail, and you would take a shot. I'm not saying to say there's going to be things happen, but you would put your life in front of our leader, in front of the leader of the United States, which is the president, or any of the other ones right there that are leadership people, right, that the Secret Service has to protect in extreme circumstances. And this is going to just jump to it. The people that are experiencing the tribulations overseas in the country that is basically falling apart right now. There are Christians there that are laying down their life. Now, it can get a lot of criticism. They said they probably had heads up, all this type of stuff, but they weren't willing to move their faith. They weren't willing to give up their friends, their family. We don't know the exact details of a lot of this stuff. There might be some news sources online that can be trustworthy or whatever. But that's what it means to lay down your life for one another, is not only to die, but to believe spiritually the same way that our leader, that God has tried to show us, is that we love one another. We are willing to lay down our life for one another. If you are my friends, or you are my friends if you do what I command you. I do not call you servants anymore, because a servant does not know what his master is doing. And this is important. This is really, really important. And going back to, I was talking about it at some point. We're all leaders. We're all called to do something for God. This hits on that as well. Not only do we need to find the traits that are in the Bible, but also in the real world. If somebody's about something, right, they're going to be doing it. They're going to have those qualities, those traits. You're going to be able to recognize that. Somebody says they love you, you're going to be able to recognize whether or not that's love. It says, I do not call you servants anymore, because a servant doesn't know what his master is doing. And you see, that is probably the biggest part of this. When we talk about that servant leadership, that that once we get higher, the more we're doing things for the people that are part of our team, right? That we're trying to improve the lives of or make easier. When you're elevated to a position of leadership, it's not necessarily that you are doing those jobs or that you know how to do those jobs better or anything like that. Because if that was the case, then you would be doing those jobs. Your job, like Jesus's job, was to take care of the ones who were following him. To take care of, he was talking to the disciples during this time and saying, you guys are now the leaders. You guys are the ones that need to go out and do what you need to do to be able to follow me. This is what he was talking about here. He says, I do not call you servants anymore because the servant doesn't know what his master is doing. I have called you friends because I have made known to you everything that I have heard from my Father. You do not choose me. You did not choose me, but I chose you. I appointed you to go and produce fruit, and that your fruit should remain, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will give you. So he repeats himself. This is what I command. Love one another. True leadership is really recognizing that the leader cares about his constituents, cares about his team members, cares about the ones that are around him. Later on, Jesus exemplified that because he prayed for them. And he didn't just pray for the whole world, pray for himself, pray for other things that were going to go on. He prayed for his disciples. He prayed for his people. He prayed for the ones who called him rabbi, master, teacher, leader. They wanted to crown him king. The ones who really knew who he was the king. Now, he didn't want any part of the government. Obviously, he could have fixed it all himself, but he wanted to show a better way. Instead of all the violence that did occur, it was to him. He wanted to show that there is a better way, and it's love. And us as leaders, the ones that are called out, every one of us Christians, we have to be known for that. That's one of the traits that we have to exemplify. Because if we don't love, then how can we say that we're a Christian? How can we say that we're a follower of Christ when his example is he loved because God loved him, right? He loved us because God, it's a passing down type of deal. He did all these things. Of course, he was God as well, but he showed us that he's all powerful by becoming flesh and showing us that he wants to be in our company. He wants us to be a part of him. That's what it really was. He wanted us to be in his family, and he's calling you guys out. Come, follow me. There's a better way. Love one another. Take care of one another. You know, there's no reason for hate. There's no reason for all these things that is going on right now. Love one another. That's what a leader is supposed to do. To be able to care for his servants, care for his people. Servants, he kind of got rid of that. It's kind of cool that way back then, treat other ones with respect, treat other ones with kindness and love and equality. It bleeds through right here. It's crazy. That's just something that was on my mind. Again, we're gonna be online. Yeah, we're gonna be online Sunday. We're still taking the precautions that we need to do, and so we'll be online. I thought it was after Labor Day, but at least next weekend we're going to reassess. We're going to see how things are going. Good news, The Pfizer vaccine was given full approval, and so we just encourage you guys to go get your vaccine, get vaccinated. I think it's approved for anybody that's over 16, and then, kids a little bit younger than that can still get it. So that's one of the ways that we're gonna have to deal with this. Might as well get it done. I think that we are we're okay. We're gonna be live Sunday. Sunday school starts at 10. Sunday worship starts at 11. And we are on the air with KUSH Radio, 1600 AM KUSH. Or you can find them on the TuneIn app. So you don't have to be in the Cushing area if you're traveling, doing whatever. Towards the hills over there in the northeast part, you can't really get that signal. You can get that signal almost to Oklahoma City though, but that's the flatter part of Oklahoma. And so 1600 AM KUSH or tune in. And then we'll be back here next Wednesday. So until next time, let me get everything situated here. I want to wish you well.